How's it going, everyone? Data here, and welcome back to the Philadelphia Flyers franchise mode, episode number 14, headed into the second half of 2025-26, year number 4 with the Flyers. In the last one, we paused at the trade deadline because, although we're a winning team, we've been very streaky. Big winning streaks, big losing streaks. We're now 2-6-2 in our last 10. We're 32-24-5, and we're holding on to a divisional spot just barely in the Metropolitan Division. When it comes to our lineup, it's been quite strong for the most part. It's just that we haven't been scoring goals as we thought we would. William Nylander, when we first acquired him, even though it was the blipped universe and when we went back in time, he was still able to put up like 25, 30 goals around that range. He only has 12 this season, on pace to, I don't even know if he'll hit 20. But that's, he's been a great playmaker, but not scoring as we thought he would. Patrick Laine is leading the team in goals with 28, which is very nice, and his other fantastic Finn partner, Jesse Puljujärvi, is leading the team in points with 52 and 61. He's been a great revelation for us. Aside from that, Farabee hasn't been great, etc., etc. Parros has been growing, but our biggest question headed into the final 20 games or so will be, what do we really do with Bobby Brink? We've been trying to find him a spot in the team. He's a playmaking guy who needs to probably be in the top 6, top 9. It's just hasn't really worked out for him the last couple of years. Obviously, right now, he doesn't have the greatest opportunity to succeed. Let's give him a chance to do that elsewhere. The defense has been all right. We picked up Adam Pelech in a big trade. He has, well, just with us in Philadelphia in the top pair, he has 9 points and is a -1 through 45 games so far this season, playing with Moritz Seider. We have Neil Pionk in his first season, Hugo Brisebois in his rookie season. And the goaltending has not been fantastic. Michael DiPietro's holding his own. Malcolm Subban's been okay, but there definitely could be some improvements right there. So when we were thinking about possible upgrades to make heading into the rest of this season and even into next season, a very popular suggestion all the way from 2 episodes ago and even in the last episode would be to trade for the rights of Wayne Peterson, an RFA over on the New York Rangers. At the beginning of the season, it wouldn't make sense to trade for him because there's no way that the Rangers would want to trade him to a rival. But now that they didn't sign him, nobody poached him or anything, they may be on the brink of losing him for nothing. So Wayne Peterson may even want to go to a rival at this point. 85 overall, 21 years of age, high top 6 potential, a centerman who was drafted in the 12th overall in 2022, 5-star shooting sniper who takes a lot of shots, exactly what we need. More goals than assists in his career. Every year he's gotten better. He's sitting out for the entirety of this season, so he will be upset. I wouldn't mind trading for him with some of our excess value and looking to get him into the lineup next season. But those are just my thoughts, so let's turn over to the assistant general managers down in the comments section. So moving over to the lineup, because lots of the suggestions have to do with that, starting with Mart. Mart says, seeing Parros with the points that he's putting up on the 3rd line, I would put him on the 1st line with Savoie and Laine. Nylander drops the 2nd with Frost and Puljujärvi. Farabee, Newhook, Giroux gives you a great 3rd line. Either that, or I'd put Laine with Savoie and Puljujärvi, Nylander with Frost and Parros, and drop Farabee with Newhook and Giroux. All those suggestions are great, but I feel like any suggestions that we would play with would be between the 1st and 3rd line, because the 2nd has been firing on all cylinders. That's a tough one. Pelech was a good grab to help the first pair D, but I still think that we need more. An upgrade over either Sanheim or Ristolainen should be something we look into at the deadline. John Marino has a decent contract. If chemistry is okay, I'd think about it. I also wouldn't pay for an 83 overall Patty Kane. We're thinking about that over on the Chicago Blackhawks. We already have a lot of players in that range. Wayne Peterson could be an interesting option to take Giroux's roster spot next year. Lots of options, and the future looks bright. Thank you, Mart. I think we're going to go ahead and throw out the idea of Patrick Kane. Thinking back in it, it didn't work. I think the reason I suggested it is because I saw the potential storyline of how Patrick Kane scored the goal to win the Cup for the Hawks against the Flyers in 2010, and now 16 years later in 2026, he tries to win the Cup with them now, but it just doesn't work, as fun as that would be. Vinny says, great acquisition in this video with Pelech. I would say move forward past the trade deadline without many changes and head into the postseason. It wouldn't make sense to acquire any extra players to the team, as it's already pretty clogged up with players trying to crack the lineup and also move up spots. Good point. But maybe grabbing Peterson as an exception may work, because he wouldn't be a player who plays this year. He would only be in our lineup next year. Great video. Can't wait to see what happens in the next one. Thank you very much, Vinny. Joe comments, another stellar video GM data. Thank you very much, Joe. It is time to ship Brink. Ship him before he loses value, even more so than he will by summer 2026. You've said that you want to keep him unless the move was right. Package him in a deal with Brink. I think he means to say in a deal with Lindblom, according to the rest of his comment, or in a deal with Frost. I think it's time that we depart with Frost, and while his value is more than double Brink and Lindblom put together, try for Peterson and a third or two or whatever. I'll pause this comment right here. The reason why Morgan Frost is not someone I want to move right now is because even though his point total isn't astronomical, but it's still very good. As you can see right here, he's on pace for 50, 60 points. Again, that is very, very good. Not point per game, but very, very good. He is also on a $3 million contract for the next 4 seasons after this one. We signed him to a relatively good deal when he was a middle six centerman. He grew. He's having a great career year this year. I don't think now's the time to move him. Even though his value is at an all-time high, even if he regresses, his contract is digestible enough that it wouldn't hurt us to keep him on. Back to the comment, although the Capitals are a winning team, they have like everybody on the block. Their goalie, Samsonov, Carlson, Ovechkin, they have everyone there. I would suggest checking in on Mason Appleton to become a bottom 6 player. It could be a minor trade, and I like it. I looked into it, but again, unfortunately, Mason Appleton is playing third line and first penalty kill with Washington. It wouldn't make a lot of sense for us to trade like a random pick for him, and then he plays fourth line. And he has a decent amount of value. It would take a bit more than I'd want to move, and our lineup's already pretty clogged, but I like that suggestion. Also liking DiPietro, but I think he should be our backup. We need someone to take control between the pipes. I'm going to get to that soon. We have good prospects in the goalie pool, but if the goal is just returning to the playoffs, we could make do through the season. But if we'd like to get back to the second round plus, it might be the time to jump on a starting goalie if there are any that are available and the move makes sense. Pleasure as always, Data. Keep up the awesome work. Much love. And much love back at you, Joe. Thank you very much. I have a trade in mind that I want to make, but that trade is going to deplete us of some value. And only if we still have the value after that trade will I look into a goalie that's been tempting me. So I'll get back to goaltending thoughts later on, but thank you for all of that. Finishing off the YouTube comments with Etch, who I'm going to skip the first paragraph because I replied in the comments. Unfortunately, Brink wouldn't get a first round pick, even a second, I don't think, on his own. Etch goes on to say, I don't think you need to make any big moves this deadline. The team's been a bit streaky, but still good overall. If you have to trade for someone, it should be someone like Peterson, because the team isn't quite there yet to waste assets on rentals. Wait until you are in the President's Trophy race to really push for that. As far as the lines go, I think Savoie still needs more time on the third. You can give Newhook a look on the second line and Frost a look on the first line, but I also hesitate to upset whatever magic's going on with Puljujärvi. That's why I might try a Savoie and Newhook swap. Newhook has also been disappointing, but is that a matter of him not scoring as he should, or is it that he's not being put in the best position to succeed? Give him 10 games or fewer if the team's doing very badly, and if it looks like, Newhook's taken off on the first line, that's great. If not, I think it's safer to just let Giroux stay on the first line. Parros as well has been playing incredibly despite a limited role, so I wouldn't be opposed to seeing him bumped up. So maybe the top 9, I'm going to make my own tweak of Newhook here. It could go Parros, Newhook, Laine, Nylander, Frost, Puljujärvi, Farabee, Giroux, Savoie, something along those lines. Parros could just be that extra scoring touch needed on the first line to allow Frost or Giroux to really focus on playmaking, while also providing a skill upgrade over Farabee on the second line in Nylander to give Puljujärvi even more to work with, while also adding an experienced presence to the third line in Farabee instead of 2 rookies and a guy who hasn't played in the NHL in years, though I don't think rookies actually sim differently in EA land. Maybe poise would affect it. I would also consider taking Brisebois off the power play. He has great potential, but he's not getting it done right now. Give this time to Newhook or Farabee. The one reason why I don't want to do that right now is because even though Brisebois is not really doing much over there, he's giving it a +5. So if I put Newhook, for example, and yeah, Newhook gets the extra ice time, but it takes away the +5 from Parros, Savoie, Puljujärvi, and Pionk. Pionk at a 90 overall. That's crazy right now on the power play. I think it would probably take a little bit too much away from the rest of the players on the power play, especially with our power play not being bad. It's one of the, I think it's top 10 in the NHL. Nothing that we need to really be too worried about. So to start this next season, before I go into the Discord comments, if we did try Parros on that first line, we'd keep the +5 with Savoie and Laine. If we changed it to Newhook, it would be a +2, Giroux a +5. That's a tough part. I would either go Nylander, Newhook, Laine, or Parros, Giroux line. I don't know if Parros and Newhook would mix well on the first line. Plus, it gives them the +5. Parros is playing like an 87. Great for his growth. On the second line, we could go Nylander, Frost, and Puljujärvi, with the third line being something that I'm going to get to soon because I'm considering a trade. Joel Farabee, we wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, do what you could do. He's a guy who's been on pace for 25 goals, 60 points the last couple of years. This year, he's on pace for 16 goals and 44 points. So, I don't know. I know he's not getting power play time, which affects him a little bit, or even a lot, honestly. But I don't know. If there's somebody who's an odd man out in the top 9, because we have to make room over the next few years for guys like Mayorov and Pekka, even McLennan. If there's a guy who's an odd man out, it may be someone like Farabee, and Giroux's going to be leaving, whether it be by retirement or whatever, sooner rather than later. That's what I'm kind of thinking right now. But before I make any of those trades, let's finish it off in the Discord server. Now, when I'm scrolling through the Discord server, there are a lot of good comments that are some big books. I'm just going to throw on the screen right here. Some really good discussions we've been having. I got to scroll up really far to find these because in like 2-3 days, we have really big discussions. This is a real team that we're dealing with. This is the fun immersiveness of franchise mode. That being said, there's been a lot of comments about let's try Morgan Frost in the first line, stuff like that. I'm not opposed to Frost in the first line. I love Morgan Frost this year. He's a career year. But I'm not sure I just want to mess up what's going on with him and Puljujärvi. If he starts to slow down or if the first line really needs the help, absolutely, we'll try it out. But I want to try Parros, Giroux lining with a +5 first, Nylander, Frost, Puljujärvi on the second line, and the third line with my trades coming up. There were also some comments about the goaltending situation. Just in general, can we trust it? Classic Philadelphia. It might be okay for the season, but in the playoffs, who can we really trust? That's another concern for us. And our final concern that I'm seeing a lot in the Discord comments are what's up with Oscar Lindblom. He's an 84 overall, making just over $4 million for the next 3 years after this one. He can't be a fourth liner forever, so should we trade him now? And my response to that would be, I don't think he can start next season on the fourth line, but for right now, fourth line, penalty kill, he's a leader. He's about to maybe get a lineup boost with the trade that I'm going to make. I think one last route with Lindblom would make sense. It's Bobby Brink who's, we're a bit more desperate to move sooner rather than later. So all that being said, and again, I cannot put into words enough how much I appreciate all the thoughts, especially in the Discord server where we're having full-on conversations back and forth as if it's a Board of Governors meeting. All that being said, I would like to start this episode by making a deadline deal for Wayne Peterson over on the New York Rangers. Now, I put something in the Discord server that I'll show you right now, just thinking out loud. Although he would have helped if we got him earlier, I don't mind that we didn't get Peterson this season. Realistically, the Rangers would have matched or moved money to keep him from going to a rival, but the AIGM isn't smart enough. We can't always take advantage of the AIGM. But now that they're on the brink, LOL, of losing him for nothing, rival or not, they'll want to recoup value before he's gone. So Wayne Peterson has been a player that we've been very tempted by for a little while. Why trade, as Pat made a comment somewhere in the Discord server, why trade for a guy who's like, whatever, high top 6, 76 overall, 20, 19 years of age, when you have Wayne Peterson who's an 85 at 21, has the potential, has the shooting attributes, the shooting numbers and the attributes. Getting him right now would be great, and although we don't really have the roster spot for him right now, we could next season. The Rangers are a fringe team who don't want to lose him for nothing, and they have big contracts to re-sign next season. They have Lafreniere, they have Trouba. I was looking through their team. They have a lot of guys that they'll need money for next season. Peterson may walk for nothing. But if I go ahead and alleviate a bit of their cap trouble, here's what I'm thinking of doing in a trade with the Rangers. First off, I have to free up a roster spot, and that would be to trade Joel Farabee. Joel Farabee, he's been a Flyer for a long time, one of the longest-serving players, actually, drafted back in 2018. He's a good two-way forward. He's been scoring. Bit of a slower pace this season, but it's just a difference of viewpoint, I guess. I'm not really married to the idea of keeping him, but I wouldn't mind keeping him either. If it works in a trade to get Peterson, then that, all the better. So Farabee goes to New York along with Bobby Brink, a guy that we're just trying to get some value for right now. They go to New York, but they would obviously be over the salary cap. So not only am I going to be helping them out by giving them a player that they can commit to, Bobby Brink is an 83 overall for cheap. That's the type of player that they need. I'll also take money off their hands. I'm going to help them out a little bit. I'm going to take Barclay Goodrow, signed for 3.64 next season. That frees up extension dollars right there. So not only are they back to under the salary cap this season, they'll have even more money freed up next season. Yeah, it's a swap of Goodrow for Farabee and Brink, so in general, they're taking on more money, but they're taking on more talented money. So if they have to let, I looked at their expiring deals, if they have to let Philip Heidel walk, for example, well, they have Farabee and Brink. At least they have those guys instead of the guys they're tied up to, or tied up with, which is Barclay Goodrow. So if I go ahead and try to make this trade happen 2 for 2, it says that we're quite far off in value. Now, it's not a crazy draft class, and we do want to recoup more draft capital, etc., but I wouldn't mind moving some picks here. We have a couple fourths, couple fifths, couple sixths. I don't mind moving some draft picks. So if I trade you a 5th round pick to make this happen, they're still a bit off in value. So we're getting actually quite close. It should take, like, let's say I throw in a 7th next season, a 5th this year, our 5th, and Carolina's 7th next year. See, this is what I was looking at earlier. They don't want to do it because then they'd have to put Matthew Robertson on waivers. So, what do you do in franchise mode when they say this? I could throw in a 1st round pick. They will not do it because they don't want to put Matthew Robertson on waivers. So I now need to acquire Matthew Robertson. He's not a bad player. Medium top 4D, 79 overall. We acquire Matthew Robertson in the trade, but it does add value. He's on an expiring deal. Does he stay? I don't know. But to make room for him, because we already have 6 defensemen, we have to move our current 7th D to bring in another 7th D, and that is Ronnie Attard. Ronnie has been great for us. He's been a fan favorite as well, but he's been a 7th D man. He hasn't had a ton of ice time. He had 1 full season. He had, he's not a points guy, but he's been a morale guy, and it's been fun having him. I've really enjoyed having Ronnie. 6'3", 3rd round pick in 2019, made the NHL. Good for him, man. 90 shot blocking. I'm proud of Ronnie, but I'm going to have to move him in this deal. And because Robertson has more value than Ronnie, I'd have to give up picks once again. And it may take a little bit here. I've been trying a few different things. I cut out a lot of the trial and error to save you all from having to watch me just do 100 trades. But a 3rd this year and a 7th next year to make this trade happen. I give you Farabee and Brink, who are signed. You don't have to worry about them. I take Goodrow off the books. You get value for Peterson, and you swap Robertson for Ronnie, and you get a 3rd and a 7th out of it. New York, what do you say? A bit off in value. I think we're about at that point now. Add a 6th, and I think we're there. I'll give you, do I have 2 6ths this year? I have 2 6ths next year as well. I'll give you next year's 6th round pick, a 3rd and a 6th to make it happen. New York, what do you say? Trade accepted. On behalf of the New York Rangers organization, I accept your trade offer. We'll see you out on the ice. So Joel Farabee, Bobby Brink, it's been a pleasure having you. Ronnie, all the best in New York. We don't get Wayne Peterson this year, but it will be huge to have him next season. I'm very excited to have him in the lineup. We'll figure out where he goes next season. For right now, we do have the whole of Joel Farabee being out, and that's where Oscar Lindblom gets promoted. When given a top 6, top 9 role, Lindblom has shown himself to be a monster out there. So we're going to give him more ice time. He's had a good season. For only 9 minutes, 11 seconds per night, I know it's not crazy, 12 points, but he has been a solid contributor for us, and he's, again, a fan favorite, both in the series and in the real world. On the 4th line, we can bring up Matthew Strome, call up Wade Allison, guys like that. So now the lineup can look like this. And here we go. So Matthew Strome comes in as 4th line left wing. Wade Allison, welcome back to the NHL, 4th line right wing. The line has a -1. Not a huge deal, but we can keep an eye on that. It wasn't a good 4th line at all last season, but maybe in EA land, things are better now. Barclay Goodrow, I considered having him as a 4th liner, but the problem is he has a horrible 4th line fit and makes it a -2, even worse. So I'm going to see if we can get any value for him in a trade. If not, maybe he just stays as an emergency 13th forward. Matthew Robertson is 7th D, and Ustimenko is still our 3rd goalie. So there is the lineup, ladies and gentlemen, with Joel Farabee and Bobby Brink now out, Lindblom up to the top 9, and we'll see what happens with Wayne Peterson moving forward. So I'd like to put Newhook back at center, And the centers could be interchangeable moving on. We'll keep Savoie on the wing for the moment. On the third line, he's getting power play and other stuff, center position. But in the 5-on-5 lineup, we'll keep Newhook as the centerman. And that is all we need to do for the moment. Now what I'm considering is a move for a goaltender. And there are not many goalies on the block. But over in Montreal, who, they are a losing team, they have Carey Price on the trade block. 81 overall, 38 years of age, final year of his $10.5 million deal. He sells all of his X factors. He has a solid .917 save percentage, 2.56 goals against, very consistently in that .914 to .918 range. Very good numbers. I like Carey Price a lot. Who doesn't like Carey Price? And he has the poise, he has the playoff experience. I'm very tempted to go after Carey Price if the price is right. Carey Price would come in. We'd have to send Malcolm Subban back. We're not going to be trading Michael DiPietro. We just signed him. He's on a good deal, 84 overall. But Malcolm Subban is on an expiring deal. He's been good for us, but can he be the guy in the postseason? That's the issue. So I give you Malcolm Subban, who's better than Jake Allen. He becomes the starter in Montreal, or at least still splitting starts. I give you Malcolm Subban. I'll also send you Urson. His potential's dropped to AHL starter. I'll give you these two goaltenders for your system. You can throw Urson and Laval, whatever you want to do. You have a lot of unsigned players there. So Allen can come up, play, or actually it would be Primo and Subban splitting starts. It would be Allen and Urson down in the AHL, and this guy Young doesn't have to play. There you go. So I'd have to give you Subban, Urson, and probably some picks to make this happen, because I don't really have anything else that you'd be interested in. But I also don't have a third anymore. I have a couple fourths and fifths. If I throw in a fifth, how close does this get us? Subban, Urson, and a fifth to bring Carey Price to Philadelphia. One last hurrah before retirement. It would be nice for him to retire as a Hab, but they're a losing team, and he's still good. Let's give him a chance here in Philly. Trade rejected. With the 5th round pick, if we throw in one of our sixths. Instead of 2 fifths, 2 sixths, now we have one of each. Still rejected. Not up to snuff at all. Yeah, it's not going to be easy to make this happen. If we throw in a fourth, what do you say to a fourth? Not very interesting. Let me play with this a bit. And I'll throw in, I don't know, one of my, I guess the Islanders' 6th in 2027 that came in the Pelech deal. 4th, a 5th, and a 6th. You get a couple goalies. This is a good deal, Montreal. What do you say? Still quite far off in value. It's not just that it's Carey Price, it's that we kind of need a better goalie for if we're going to be going in the postseason. And Carey Price fits the bill. 2 fourths and a 5th. Trade accepted. Thank you very much, Mr. Kent Hughes. On behalf of the Montreal Canadiens organization, I accept your trade offer. We'll see you out on the ice. Thankfully, we had the money to make it happen as well, to take on all $10.5 million of his contract. Malcolm Subban, I'm really going to miss you, buddy. Malcolm Subban, what a monster he's been with us. He's been from backup to having to play starter when Carter Hart was injured. He's been great. Plus, we have the goalies in the pipeline. I don't know how much longer Malcolm Subban could have stuck around and still been happy. So he gets to thrive in Montreal. Carey Price, help us on the run. DiPietro, back up probably for the rest of the year-ish. They'll split starts. We'll decide who gets the crease for the postseason. And there you go. So Peterson trade, followed by a Carey Price trade. Huge for the lineup both this season and next season. 2 big deals. We're at the salary cap now. We're just up to the cap, but Price will be off the books next season, so not a huge deal. And ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to keep on simulating. So let's do it against the Colorado Avalanche, a very good hockey team. Lindblom in the top 9, Carey Price between the pipes. The Avalanche were 39, 17, and 4. Let's get the first viewing of this new lineup and Carey Price in front of his new home fans to finish off 2026. Here we go. First period, 2-0 Avalanche early. Kadri and Nicolas Roy, 2 goals and 15 shots. We got to help them out, boys. Let's see the shooting. Parros on that top line. Oh, whoa. Whoa. 5-0 Avalanche. Baptism by fire against such a good team. Oh my goodness. And DiPietro's in there as well. Let's just call it a day. 9-2. Wow. Lindblom scored. That's great. And we allow 9 goals. Wonderful. Whew. -4 from Pelech and Seider. -3 from Puljujarvi. Oh my goodness. This was just not a good game for us. Just, ooh, let's just wipe our memories of that one. You didn't have to see that. Hopefully the calendar sim will be something else. Sheesh, my goodness. Let's sim to the next game, see what the rest of the league did when it came to the trade deadline, and then we'll sim towards the end of the season. But those are our two moves. We acquire Wayne Peterson. Like, it's funny how it's not the first time we get an RFA from the Rangers either. We've got, in the last, like 3 or 4 series, we've gotten Keandre Miller, we've gotten Zach Jones. I believe in Minnesota we got a first-line centerman. So is this the 4th player we've poached in 2 games from the Rangers who they had as an RFA? That's just crazy. Jack Eichel going to Toronto. What? For 2 firsts, Lekaramaki, and another prospect. Wow. Vegas gets a huge haul for Eichel as well. And Dylan Larkin goes to Columbus for a first and a prospect. Huge deal. Sidney Crosby to Winnipeg for 2 firsts and a prospect as well. Robert Hagg, throwback to Robert Hagg. He's on waivers. 1 year left at a 79 overall. I mean, we have Matthew Robertson. He fits the 3rd pair. Yeah, you know what? That wouldn't hurt, actually. He fits the 3rd pair, but you never know if we run into a couple injuries. Robert Hagg, welcome back to Philadelphia. Oh my goodness. So big trades. Larkin, Eichel, and Crosby all being moved. What were some other trades that happened? So we had our trades that happened right there. Lawson Crouse to Toronto, John Marino to Dallas. I considered making a defensive move. John Marino was a suggestion in the comments. But honestly, I feel like our top 4 is set. Even if it would be an upgrade over Sanheim, it would be negligible. And if we made an upgrade like that, I think it would be over the off season. We already made a big move in acquiring Pelech. I think our defense is set at least for this season. Reno was tempting, but I think that's my rationale behind it. A first and Jeff Skinner going to Boston for Hampus Lindholm and Charlie Coyle. Jack Eichel to Toronto. Alex Pietrangelo to Vegas. Excuse me, to Florida from Vegas. Some other moves happening. John Klingberg to Anaheim, like in the real world. Crosby to Winnipeg. Denton Matejchuk to Carolina. No Patrick Kane trade, it doesn't look like. Ryan Murray to New Jersey. That's about it. All right. Some big moves happening around the NHL. Teams that are making a push, and we are one of them. So let's try and cross our fingers for better things now. At the Prudential Center against the New Jersey Devils. Let's get that 9-2 loss out of our system. It's against a very good team, we got to admit. But let's get that out of our system. First period, 1-0. Shrangovich on Carey Price. Shots are 14-4. This is what I'm talking about. Where is the shooting? Second period, 2-1. Thank you very much. Patrick Laine and Matthew Savoie being outshot by double, 27-13. But we're up 2-1 with 2 quick goals right there. Power play to start the period. Nothing comes from that one. We're still being outshot. Let's go. Let's pick it up in that category, boys. Come on. We can't count on these performances all the time. Nico Hischier ties it up, and Jesper Bratt makes it 3-2. The guy, he gives a normal 900 save percentage performance. That should be enough to try and get us some wins. Who's going to score late? Anybody? Nobody. 3 goals on 34 shots. That's not bad. But we lose another game. This is really frightening me here. When it comes to the postseason, this is frightening me. We're down to a wild card spot now. I'm not happy about this. I'm going to have to make some of those. I know it was just 2 games, but I got to make some more changes here. Let's put Nylander back on the top line. I'm going to try Newhook on the top line because he shoots. So Nylander, Newhook, Laine. We're going to go Parros, Frost, and Puljujarvi. Lindblom. Do I try Savoie at center for face-off 66? I know obviously, Giroux 90 face-offs, but okay, whatever. Lindblom, Giroux, Savoie. We'll do that. Plus minuses, they haven't been bad. Allison's a -2 in 2 games. Meh. Defense, +2, -10, -1, +1. Could be a lot better. Seider, -4. Pelech, -12 is killing me. I don't know what's up with him, but Sanheim and Seider have done well together in the past. So let's go Pelech and Pionk instead. Goaltending, Carey Price since he came here. Those 2 performances, I know it's that game with the Avalanche really put him off, but let's try DiPietro. They're back-to-back games coming up anyways, so let's give DiPietro to Dallas here. They're 22, 39, and 4. I think they're both losing teams here, the Stars and the Coyotes. So I won't do the calendar sim or the slow sim, but just a menu sim here. Against the Dallas Stars, Michael DiPietro between the pipes, 3-2 overtime loss. We'll get Carey Price in for this one. Price in against the Coyotes. Here we go. Since making these trades, we're what? 0-2-1 in these 3 games. So let's try and get something going. 1-6-3 in our last 10 games against the Coyotes, who are 6-3-1, but they're a losing team. We lose 6-4. 6-4? You're kidding me. 6-4. 0-3-1 in the last 4 games. And the fourth line was even good with the plus minuses there last game. What is happening? First line, -16, -15. This is bonkers. Morgan Frost, top line. You're going up. Frost, do I put Giroux? Yeah. Paros, Giroux, Puljujarvi, Lindblom, Newhook, Savoie. There we go. There's the top 9 for now. Pellick was -14 or -12. Now he's still -12. Seider was -9. Now he's -7. Okay, at least there's that. I got to give Price more reps here. We got to keep rolling with Carey Price. I'm just going to go, let's go calendar sim. I just got to go calendar sim. Let's get these 2 games against the Capitals under our belts. I'm going to have Price start both of them, and then he'll also start against the Canadiens in Montreal. It's going to be an emotional night. It's going to be, there we go, finally, a 3-2 shootout win. The tears are going to be streaming. In Washington, can we do it again? Then we lose 5-3. All right. In Montreal, they're 27-31-9. Presumably, it's going to be Price versus Subban, unless it's Caden Primo, but let's do it at the Bell Center, the first time as an opposing player for Carey Price. Here we go. First period, 1-0 Flyers early. It's Neil Pionk on Caden Primo. Shots tied at 11. Second period now, 1-1 game. Slavin scores on Price. Shots tied at 22. 11 each per period. 1-1 game. Headed into the final 20 minutes, we are all tied. We gotta get these wins, boys. We should be pushing for a deep playoff run. Now we're on the brink. Let's go. Power play goal, Jesse Puljujarvi. Thank you very much. We're up 2-1, but don't stop there. We're being outshot again. Power play Montreal, and there it is. Power play goal, Cole Caulfield on Carey Price. How about that? Under 5 to go now. Final 2 minutes. I need a hero. 3 seconds, nothing. Overtime. Who took this penalty in that final few minutes there? Cross-checking minor. Lovely. Overtime. Shots are 34-31 for the Habs. 2-2. Let's see it. Here we are, desperate for a win in Montreal. Claude Giroux at the dot, pushes him off, gets Nylander to the puck. All right, snipe it, big boy. Can't even get a shot off. Nick Ehlers coming back the other way on Moritz Seider. We have 3 Flyers back. Very good. Seider, good stick checking, but Ehlers, hold on, getting in the lane. There's Nylander, regaining possession, back the other way, stops up, looks for Seider. He enters the zone now. Put it on net. Blocker save from Primo. Into the corner now is Nylander. Putting it back in front, but Slavin breaks it up. Nylander regains off that hit. Giroux from the point through traffic. Primo grabs it with the glove and hangs on. Giroux kicks it back to Seider. Hold on, here's Giroux, but can't get a shot off. Nesterov up to Ehlers, 2-on-2. Nick Ehlers with Slavin, I believe. Here's Ehlers over to Nesterov's. No, it's Tanev. 2 big saves from Carey Price. How to fix his jersey number, by the way. Over to Nesterov, can't get it through. Now here's Seider, up to William Nylander. Now here's Giroux, 2-on-1. Giroux coming in, take the shot! Right on Primo, easy save. Now here come the Canadiens back the other way in the corner, broken up by Pionk. Now he's leading the charge back into Montreal territory, over the red line. Can't get it through, but now here's a breakaway chance for Laine to Savoie. Backhand stopped by Primo on the doorstep. I gotta fix these numbers. Laine has Price's number. I don't know who has Laine's number. It's Frost and Paros against Toffoli and Doc here. Face off won by Doc. Canes have lost their last 2 games. We've been horrible the last 10. I don't know what's been going on with us. Just, yeah, walk in, no problem. Carey Price makes a point-blank save, thankfully. Slavin can't get through Lindblom. Lindblom up to Paros. Here is Paros with lots of space. Put it on net, sniper. Frost, oh, sprawling is Caden Primo, who stops it in the corner now. In front, broken up by Lindblom on the doorstep. Gets it up to Josh Paros, now skating into Montreal territory. Paros stops up at the blue line, puts it in front to Frost. Put it in front to Lindblom. Come on, Lindblom regains it at the blue line. Slips away from Toffoli. Frost on net, kick save from Primo. Frost back to Paros. Paros to Lindblom. Can't get it on net. Back to Kirby Doc. Can't get it in front to Toffoli. Now Paros will have it back the other way. 2-on-1 with Frost, but he stops and goes for a line change. Paros on net, scores! Big snipe from Paros. His 25th of the year, and the rookie wins it in overtime. Huge win for the Flyers in Montreal. Carey Price takes down the Habs, and it's a big snipe from Josh Paros that ends it. The rookie's 25th of the season, definitely getting him some Calder votes. Big snipe from Josh Paros, and the Flyers will take it 3-2 in overtime. Let's see this right through Kirby Doc. Beautiful snipe on Primo. 25 goals for number 25. Shots in this one, and 40-38 for the Habs. 38 saves from Carey Price. Lovely performance. His best as a Flyer so far, I would say. And thankfully, the Flyers win this one 3-2. All right, so both of our wins since the trade deadline have come in after regulation, basically. We are 2-4-1 in the last 7 games. Not ideal at all, but I'll give Michael DiPietro the next start against the Canadiens. Then we'll go back to, I don't know, I want to be careful if the auto goalie rotates. So I want to give enough starts to both these guys. But I'll get DiPietro in against the Canadiens, and then it'll be back to Price for the Blue Jackets. So at home against the Canadiens, after we beat them 3-2, a couple days later, we beat them 5-3. Very, very nice. Our first regulation win since making those trades. And I'll get Carey Price back in between the pipes here. But Michael DiPietro, good to see him getting a win. His season numbers improve a little bit. Good. Always love to see that. Now we'll go back to Carey Price at Nationwide Arena. The Blue Jackets are 26-37-6. These matchups should not be horrible for us. We beat them 5-1. Very good. Very good. We face them again now at home a couple days later to go on a 4-game winning streak. No, we lose 4-1. Now taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning with about, 12 games left in the season, 11 games left in the season. Lightning are a winning team, but on a losing streak the last 10. We have shut out 4-0. Man, the scoring is so streaky. It's crazy. We'll give Price the game here against the Devils, and we win 6-5 in the shootout, thank goodness. I don't know what's up, though. The defense has just been horrible for the plus-minuses. That second pair, actually, yeah, with Pionk and Pelech, they've not been good. Pelech's been horrible with us, I have to say. I don't know what it is. Amazing in the real world, but he hurts whoever he plays with. So, you know what? I don't know. I'm going to try... Let's go Pelech and Hugo on the third pair. Why not? Give it a +2. He'll play as a 90 overall. Let's go Pionk and Risto on the second pair. Risto's actually been okay. My dear beloved son, Rasmus Ristolainen. Carey Price, here we're going to swap you up with Michael DiPietro for the next game, maybe even more, depending on how DiPietro does. Against the Boston Bruins, the worst team in the NHL, and we win 4-0. Thank goodness. A shutout victory for Michael DiPietro. That'll be enough to keep him between the pipes. We are second in the Metro, thanks to the division not being particularly strong. The Ducks are 40-31-5, a little Western Conference swing to end off the year here. Taking on the Ducks in Anaheim, we beat them 3-1. I'm going to keep Michael DiPietro in there for the Kings, who are 40-27-9. We lose 3-2. The Flames are 28-40-7. I'm going to go DiPietro one more time, no matter what happens, and we'll go Price against the Buffalo Sabres. 4-3 win against Calgary. Very good. We're 7-3-0 in our last 10. We're turning things around slowly with 5 games left in the season. The menu simulation, I don't know if that's helping or what, but let's get Price back in here. And I just realized that I totally forgot to try and trade Barclay Goodrow, but we'll do that at the draft. Please, someone remind me. We've got to trade Barclay Goodrow at the draft. Ristolainen's coming to the second pair as a +4, and Pelech was he -13, so I guess he's been +2. DiPietro numbers are looking a bit better, but we'll still get Carey Price in for a few more games so we can decide with a healthy sample size who should be our starter for the postseason, assuming that we make it. Let's keep on rolling through the Sabres. Another losing team. We're getting lucky with the back end of our schedule. Lucky 4-3 win in the shootout. The Seattle Kraken are looking for win number 40. We want win number 42. Let's see who gets it. As we're playing in Philadelphia, we lose 3-2 in overtime. We have 3 games left on the year. We're going to go Detroit, so we'll go Price, DiPietro, Price to end off the year. In Detroit to take on the Wings. Looking for another win. We get a 7-3 victory. Very nice. We'll go Michael DiPietro's final start of the year against the Islanders. So big Mikey between the pipes right here. Laine 3 goals away from 40. Could he get 1 or 2 in this one? Ooh, we win 6-2, but no goals from Patrik Laine. Okay, a couple big wins now. And by the way, you can all exhale as we have clinched the playoffs in the Metropolitan Division. Thank goodness. We still have 1 game left. We want to win as many as we can, go into the postseason on a high note. So we will put Carey Price between the pipes for this one. We'll compare his performance on a smaller sample size to DiPietro's on a bit of a larger sample size and make a decision headed into the postseason. Who do we want to start game 1? Not necessarily the entire postseason, but Game 1. At home against the Detroit Red Wings, we have 3 more wins than them. Let's try and end off with 44. We're on pace for a bit more at the halfway point, I believe, but still 44, nothing to sneeze at if we can get there. First period, 2-0 Detroit early, love it. Shots 17-9 through 20. Second period, 4-1. Nylander makes it a 2-1 game, but then Zadina and Benson score twice. We're being outshot 28-18. It's in the slow sim, we just don't shoot the puck, I guess. I don't know what to say. Lindblom, okay, we're back within 2, and Alex Newhook makes it a 1-goal game. Down by 1 with lots of hockey to be played, but still being outshot quite a bit. 4-3 Detroit with 12 minutes to go on the final game of our 4th season. Power play Detroit, we kill it off. 6 minutes to go now. We're back in the shot category. Under 5. Keep peppering that net. Let's go against Cal Peterson. But nothing comes as we lose 4 through the final shots and 37-30. Another good performance, but not enough. Goal and assist from Oscar Lindblom gets him first star honors, possibly his final regular season game with the Flyers. And thus concludes year number 4 in Philadelphia. These laggy menus, can I see everyone play their 82nd game? Yes, they did. So let's take a little recap on the season that was. So in the entire NHL, we finished 12th this season with a record of 43-32-7, 1 point above the Pittsburgh Penguins, so once again the better team in Pennsylvania. We scored more as well, 3.07 goals for per game, which is very good, but we were allowing 2.99, which is a little high. Power play, we ended at 17.7%. I think we went down a little bit, actually. So maybe we want to consider some alterations headed into the postseason. Still up there, but closer to the middle than closer to the top, I think. 17.7%. And our penalty kill ended at 83.3%. Not fantastic. Closer to the bottom than the middle, probably. Let's see, just for fun, our home record was better than our away record, and we finished the season going 7-2-1 in our final 10 games. Let's check out the point totals from this season. Did the fantastic Finns lead the way? Yes, they did. 66 points from Patrick Laine, 37 goals from him. We signed him to score goals. That's what he did. We were expecting, he actually was it a career high? Sorry, a simulation high. Not a career high, but a simulation high. And the second highest in his career. 37 goals on the season. All right, we'll take it. And a 66-point year. The problem was also being a negative 22. That was the issue. 14 power play goals, 21 power play points. I like it. Jesse Puljujärvi, 25 goals and 64 points from the Finn. We got him kind of as a toss-in that Edmonton trade. He's even playing under 17 minutes a night. But he put up career highs in goals and in points with 25 goals and 64 points. Hopefully, he might be a guy who stays here long term. We got him signed for, 5.025 for 5 more seasons? 17 power play points. Great season from Puljujärvi. William Nylander now. We were expecting, I think, a bit more from him. We're expecting more in that 70-point range. This season, he puts up 63. He was a negative 17. Bit of an odd season from Nylander, who was averaging 21-13 per night, the most he's had ever. Was that a career high of ice time? Yes, it was. So I would have wanted a bit more from Nylander. But Claude Giroux, at 38 years of age and 85 overall, puts up similar numbers to Nylander. 18 goals, 43 assists, 61 points from the captain. Very happy to be seeing that. 1 more point than last season. Great. A big playmaking type season from him. Morgan Frost went down a little bit in terms of the pace that he was on, but still a 56-point season in 82 games. Very happy to see that from him. I don't know if he was great on the first line or what, but still a 56-point season is a career high in assists and points. Moving on to Parros in his rookie season, 31 goals and 54 points from Josh Parros. Do we need to try him on the first line a bit more, or do we keep him on the second line? I don't know what, but the 5-star shooting was fantastic. A great rookie season from him. Now at an 82 overall, going to jump much more very soon. Moritz Seider had 53 points and was a negative 10 on the season. A bit odd to be seeing that. But, I don't know, it's hard to see this stats not being accurate from the alternate realities. Still a good point season. Yeah, I'll give him that, but negative 10 was odd. Matthew Savoie in his rookie season, 46 points in 82 games. I like that. Alex Newhook in his first season in 3 years put up 19 goals and 33 points through 81 games. Neil Pionk, 33 in 82, was a negative 11. We got him as an offensive defenseman. He's pretty much been in the range that he's been in. I would have liked to see more, but he did score 11 goals. I'll give him that. Adam Pelech, when he came to Philadelphia, he was looking good, and then he just went off a cliff. But then I guess he turned it around. On the third pair, he seems to turn it around. He was a negative, 13? So he was a plus 15 on the third pair. But can I be paying an 88 overall, 5.75 million to play third pair? I don't know. 20 points and a +2 through 66 games for Pelech. Lindblom, 24 points in 82 games. Love that. Sanheim, 17 and a +2 in 76. Hugo Brisebois in his rookie season, 17 points and a +2. Ratcliffe, 17. Ristolainen, 12 points and a +2. Strome, 6 points in 38 games. Goodrow did not play with us. Wade Allison, 3 points, -3 in 21 games. Moving now to the goaltending. Let's check this out. Michael DiPietro went 27, 17, and 3 with 3 shutouts, a .907 save percentage, and 2.63 goals against average. His first season as a real starter, I believe, and the best season of his career by far. He had previously played, he had played 13 or 15, so yeah, best season by far for Michael DiPietro, first really as a starter. Good to see that. Carey Price with the Philadelphia Flyers went 6, 8, and 1, had an .878 save percentage and 3.63 goals against average. Yikes. Was Malcolm Subban necessarily much better? No, but I would say Subban was better. Even though extrapolated over, give him 30, 40 games, it would have gotten better. I don't know. Are we looking back on that deal with different eyes now? Maybe. Usemenko, just third goalie, nothing special from him. But there are your Philadelphia Flyers. Down in the AHL, if you're curious, McLennan had an 86-point season, 20 goals and 66 assists from the sniper. So keep that in mind. Pekka, 32 goals and 70 points from the 76 overall sniper. Evangelista, 68. Denoyer, 65. Mayorov, 39 goals and 64 points. He'll be pushing for the NHL next season easily. Kolyachonok, 50 points. Good stuff there. Kaskamaki. Goaltending, Ev Gascon, 32, 7, and 2 with 6 shutouts. Spoonar here actually did pretty well. But Ev Gascon was the star in Lehigh Valley. Even though Spoonar, he's not even a signed player. He's in the, Rangers system or something? Just because we traded a goalie, it gave us one. But shout out to this guy for doing so well. Ev Gascon, gonna maybe be pushing for third goalie or backup sooner rather than later. Interesting. Making history, though, down in the AHL as the first woman to do a lot of things. Hats off to her. In the entire NHL, it was Snoop Michael Oliver with 104 points, 69 goals from him. Cale Makar with a 100-point season. Crazy. McKinnon, 97. Byfield, 95. We're going to get him some X factors. Rantanen, 94. Pajot, this guy had a 91-point season. In the goal scoring after Snoop Michael Oliver, it was Matthews and Rantanen with 50 goals apiece. Shout out to Andrew Kopp, who had a 40-goal, 85-point season with the St. Louis Blues. Andrew Kopp, 85 points. Okay. And looking at rookie scoring this season, it was Josh Parros leading the way. Benson right behind. But with 31 goals, you would hope that Josh Parros would win the Calder Trophy this season. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. And goaltenders around the NHL, it was Eric Comrie, of course, the Avalanche. An 81 overall, going to get 45 wins, absolutely. Bobrovsky, Demko won the Vezina last year, Spencer Knight. Let's see who was the best goalie in the league if we say a minimum of 40 games played, sorting by save percentage. Samsonov, 923 save percentage, 2.34 against. Yeah, he and Ilya Sorokin having the best seasons in the NHL, I would say. Now taking a look at some of our old friends, whether we traded them away this year, maybe even last year if I can remember them. I'd like to see how Sean Couturier did over on the Sharks. He had 50 points in a full 82-game season. Ryan Ellis, where is he? 24 points in 81 games over on Edmonton, now at an 81 overall. Over on the Islanders, Cam York had 27 points in 77 games. McLaughlin had 25 in 82. And did they play Forster this season? Doesn't look like it. Did he play in their AHL system? Yeah, Tyson Forster, 49 points in 63 games down in the AHL for the Islanders. Over on the Rangers now, let's check it out. Joel Farabee, since moving to New York. I didn't see any slow Sims game against them. Maybe we'll see them in the postseason. 11 points in 22 games, a +2. Solid numbers from the left wing two-way forward. 85 overall. Again, I didn't want to necessarily move him, but it just worked out that way. Bobby Brink, since moving to New York, he put up 11 points in 22 games, but was a -6. Alrighty. And over in Montreal, let's see Subban's Vezina numbers. 2-4-2, not the greatest record, but a .915 save percentage and 2.88 goals against average. His numbers weren't super far off in terms of his numbers with the Flyers versus Price's numbers with the Flyers. They're not a huge difference, but they were better. So thus pretty much concludes the season, ladies and gentlemen. The last thing we'll want to do is see who our opponent will be in round number 1. Year 1, second round exit. Year 2, second round exit. Year 3, missed the playoffs. Year 4, let's see what happens. And it all will start with a first round matchup up against the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Battle of Pennsylvania in round number 1. This is going to be huge. Two very similar teams. Swap one overtime loss for a win, and we have the same record. We both come into the postseason 7-2-1. I'm surprised they're so good after having traded Sidney Crosby to Winnipeg, but they are here, and it's going to be quite the battle in round number 1. The Penguins have Foligno, Kopitar, Rust as their first line. Okay. Arvidsson, Gourde, and this guy Jesper Malmstrom, who was a third-round pick in 2024. Wow. Wow. Okay. I remember this guy in the draft vaguely. Vaguely, yeah. Good for them. Poulin, Gergensen, and Kapanen on the third. Zucker, Hallander, and Legare on the fourth. Defense, Jeremy Hurima, third overall pick in 2024 with Dmitry Orlov. Savard, Matheson, Pierre-Olivier Joseph, and Riley Walsh. Goaltending is Darcy Kemper and Matt Murray. So it's a solid team here, and JVR is on the Penguins. It's a solid team in Pittsburgh. They traded away Sidney Crosby, and they're still a good team. That left wing is pretty weak aside from Malmstrom, but either way, we're going to have to give it our all. Here's our lineup at the end of this season. Do we want to make any lineup changes headed into the playoffs? We want to consider calling up any players as well. I don't know if I want... I don't know, Mayorov, McLennan, they've been good down here. Would giving them a fourth line spot really do much? And of course, who is our starting goaltender for game number 1? You would think it's probably Michael DiPietro, but Carey Price has the playoff experience, the 85 poise versus the 76 poise. I don't know. It's a tough call, but I'll leave that to all of you down in the comments sections. As well, if you have any suggestions for the special teams, here are the 2 power play units, and here are the penalty kill units. If you have any suggestions for these, let them be known as well. And we'll close it off by looking at something that's been suggested, the record book. Now that we've come to the end of another regular season, how does Claude Giroux look when it comes to the all-time records here in Philadelphia? Whether or not he retires at the end of this season, let's check out where he is in history. Philadelphia Flyers, all-time games played is now Claude Giroux's record to hold at 1,189 games. Most seasons played at 17 as well. I think Bobby Clark had 16. So most seasons played. Most points is still Bobby Clark, as Claude Giroux has 1,051 to Clark's 1,210. Penalty minutes, he's not quite there yet. Neither in the assists, still 157 away there. Goals, Bill Barber at 420, but Giroux, the longest-serving Flyer of all time. Looking at any single-season records, nothing new there. Rookie records, no, as Parros' 31 goals could not beat Eric Lindros. And in single-game records, nothing new there either. So I'll go ahead and close it out there, ladies and gentlemen. Another season in the books here in Philadelphia. A 43-win season, another postseason berth. But let's see how deep we can go, as we've never made it past the second round. What changes do we need to make, if any, to guarantee that we'll go deep? A great team on paper, but we've been struggling a lot in many different ways. So I'll be looking forward to hearing your suggestions to go into the postseason, which will start against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So if you enjoyed the second half of the year and the trades that we made, Wayne Peterson on board, get excited for him next season. Be sure to leave a like. And of course, consider subscribing if you haven't already, as we're finishing off our NHL 22 series and career simulations before we move into NHL 23 content, and you won't want to miss out on any of that. So be sure to leave a comment with your thoughts down here on YouTube or over on the Discord server. We'd love to have you join us. The link is in the description. It's going to be high stakes headed into 2026 postseason, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.